peace to everybody, back with another video. This is about 13 cars Michael Jackson owned we never enter, 5 we would. And of course, as you can see here are the screenshots of the few cars that Michael Jackson had owned. Michael Jackson is rightfully deemed the king of pop. His immense level of success due to his spectacular music will forever be remembered. Due to his illustrious career, he was able to obtain a significant amount of money. Like many celebrities, he used a portion of this money to create a rather large car collection. Like his personality, his collection is by far one of the most unique that we have ever seen. Some of these decisions have been very solid, but a lot of them definitely may not mesh well with car enthusiasts today. So Michael Jackson rightfully deemed himself as the king of pop. His eminence level of success due to his spectacular music will forever be remembered. Like many celebrities, he used a portion of this money to create a rather large car collection that, like his personality, his collection is by far one of the most unique that we have ever seen. In this article, we'll be looking at 13 cars Michael Jackson owned that we would never enter. In addition, we'll discuss the 5 that we absolutely would. Although we likely wouldn't own a lot of these cars, it's apparent that this is still a very solid collection, as one has to wonder what other unique additions he would have added to it had he not passed away a decade ago. So Michael Jackson had a pretty good, car that fitted his personality. Michael Jackson owned that we would never enter, and of course, in addition, we'll discuss 5 that we absolutely would. One has to wonder what other unique additions he would have added to it had he not passed away a decade ago. So Michael Jackson passed away 10 years ago. Now let's look at these cars. Okay, so we're going to scroll down and see. Alright, so here's one of his number 18. To kick off the list, we'll be looking at Michael Jackson's 1997 Napoleon touring bus. It is understandable that a famous singer would need one, but the overall design of this is a bit obscure and just not something we're attracted to. Us regular folk have zero need to have a touring bus, so we would politely pass on this one. So here's Michael Jackson's touring bus, and of course, you know, all celebrities gotta have a touring bus, and this is what Michael Jackson had for his collection, one of them. Number 17, we never enter 1993 Ford Escalade E150 van, and of course, this is what Michael Jackson had. Michael Jackson had a family, so it makes sense that he ended up owning a 1993 Ford Escalade E150 van. This definitely offered an immense amount of room for passengers, and he added his own style to it. Yet a van from the 1990s is not our first choice of vehicle, so we likely would never want to own this one. So Michael Jackson did have a family, of course, so it does make sense that he ended up owning a 1993 Ford Escalade E150 van. So this is a nice van that he owned. This definitely offered an immense amount of room for passengers, so I guess it could fit, I don't know how many passengers, but it is a nice looking van that he had. Number 16, we never entered Peter Pan golf cart. Michael Jackson was a huge fan of Peter Pan. In a sense, he possessed a lot of similarities to the class character. With that being said, his choice of having a Peter Pan golf cart is not that surprising. However, this is just a vehicle that we would not want to own, as it is just a bit too strange for our liking. So Peter Pan was Michael Jackson's favorite thing. And of course, this golf cart or whatever it is, Michael Jackson did this. So the classic character. With that being said, his choice of having a Peter Pan golf cart is not that surprising. Of course, we all know it's not that surprising. We never entered 1909 Detachable Model B Roadster replica, and as you can see here, this is a 1909 car that Michael Jackson had. Michael Jackson definitely showed off his eccentric side with his purchase of the 1909 Detachable Model B Roadster replica. There is no question that the originality of this vehicle must be noted when looking at other cars that he had in his life. However, it is fair to state that this is one that we would not want to own personally. So Michael Jackson did own this car. He showed off this eccentric side with his purchase of the 1909 Detachable Model B Roadster replica. So this is a replica of the 1909 Roadster. We never entered 1988 GMC Jimmy High Sierra Classic, and of course this is what he had. Surprisingly, Michael Jackson actually owned a 1988 GMC Jimmy High Sierra Classic. This is definitely a more traditional vehicle. However, many people can remember how this vehicle would go on to have a plethora of structural issues, according to carcromeplanes.com. Therefore, we would politely pass on this one. So people, if you like this one, then you are in luck. But if you don't, well, I'm sorry. This is the Montana Carriage, electrified horse-drawn carriage. This electrified horse-drawn carriage is one that fits Michael Jackson perfectly. However, us car enthusiasts would likely pass on it, as it just does not provide the speed and style we look for in a vehicle. Regardless, this is still a pretty cool part of Jackson's collection. So at a minimum, it deserves praise for this clear fact. So this car fit Michael Jackson perfectly. However, us car enthusiasts would likely pass it on, and well, yeah, if you want to pass on this one, then you're more than welcome to. And of course, this is a pretty good collection that Michael Jackson had. The Harley Davidson touring bike. Michael Jackson is often remembered for his signature 2001 Harley Davidson touring bike. It's surprising that he owned one, but alas, he would end up getting a lot of use out of it. However, this is something that we would never own due to how old it is at this present time. Today's motorcycles simply outclass this one. So Michael Jackson did own this motorcycle, and of course now you got the modern day motorcycles that would outclass this Harley Davidson motorcycle. This is a 1998 Lincoln Town Car limousine, as you can see here. The Lincoln Town Car is a vehicle that many of us look back on with lovely memories. However, in a strange decision, Michael Jackson opted to have his 1988 version as a limousine. This minor change honestly ruined the entire appearance of this classic looking car. So therefore, this is one that we definitely would never own. So yeah, if it's ruining a car that it was in its original state, then yeah, people would be passing up on it and they would never own this. But you could look back at the memories of the Lincoln Town Car, of course, limousine. Now, this one I like. I like this one. This is a beautiful car, and geez, I wouldn't know what to say, but Michael Jackson certainly did own this one. The 1970 Lancia Stratos Zero may be worth a lot of money, but that does not mean that we would want to own it like Michael Jackson did. It has honestly one of the ugliest appearances to be seen on any car. Although it's clear that owning a supercar would be nice, it would probably be best to look into other models. So Michael Jackson did own this car, and it's a 1970 Lancia Stratos Zero. So who knows how fast this car goes, but unfortunately it doesn't say. It has honestly one of the ugliest appearances to be seen on any car. But I think this car is nice and it's beautiful. And of course, you got the 1956 BMW Isetta. And look how cute this car is. It's so cute and small. The 1956 BMW Isetta is a vehicle that Michael Jackson probably owned during his lifetime, to be quite frank. It makes a lot of sense that he did, as it is definitely a rather unique car. However, at the end of the day, it is fair to state that most car enthusiasts would pass on this vehicle. It not only looks strange, but was known for its major structural issues. So, and of course, with this 1956 BMW Isetta, it would have structural issues, but it being it's so cute and all. Cadillac Escalade. And of course, Michael Jackson did own this one. Michael Jackson was often seen driving around a Cadillac Escalade in the final years of his life. Although this series has a significant following by the members of the automobile world, we would honestly avoid it. Many of these vehicles are prone to having a plethora of engine and transmission issues. So if you own one of these, then yes, you're going to have a lot of transmission and engine issues as well. Michael Jackson, of course, he was often seen in this vehicle right here, in this Cadillac Escalade. 1986 GMC High Sierra 3500 fire truck. Oh, well, I never thought Michael Jackson would own this one, but to be perfectly clear, one has to admire the originality of Michael Jackson's 1986 GMC High Sierra 3500 fire truck. It effectively displayed his love for his style of vehicle, yet it is highly unlikely that many of us would actually opt to own one ourselves. We would be content with a regular version of the GMC High Sierra 3500. So Michael Jackson did own this. Of course, it had a lot of love for this style, and of course, Michael Jackson did have a lot of love for this style of this vehicle. Now, who would ever think of owning one of these? I think this is a nice car. Little bit, it's a little car, sort of, but not too little. It is the Dodge Viper mini car, and this is what Michael Jackson owned. Michael Jackson's Dodge Viper mini car, which had an image of Bart Simpson on the hood, was definitely cool to look at. However, from a practical sense, it would make absolutely no sense for one of us to own this one personally. It's just not a vehicle that could be driven around do to do our everyday task. Yet it is still very cool to observe. So yeah. So this is the Dodge Viper mini car. And of course they had an image of Bart Simpson on the hood, as you can see here in the screenshot. And it was definitely cool to look at. However, from a practical sense, it would make absolutely no sense for one of us to own this one personally. So if you're thinking about owning this, forget it, because it absolutely makes no sense at all, really. 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. This here, as you can see, Michael Jackson sitting on the hood of the car of the 1995 Mercedes-Benz. Michael Jackson has had some spectacular cars, and this is evidenced by his 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. This is one of the most notorious vehicles in the entire history of the automobile world. It would be absolutely outstanding to have the privilege of having a car that is this powerful and iconic. So yes, we would own it. So yeah, if you like to own a car like this, then yes, it is a must. But if you don't, well, I'm sorry for just go find another car. Of course, Michael Jackson has some spectacular cars, and this is evidenced by his 1995 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. And this is one of the most notorious vehicles in the entire history of the automobile world. So he definitely had the most notorious vehicle. 1999 Rolls-Royce Silver Safra, whatever. And of course, Michael Jackson did own this one. Michael Jackson definitely needs to be praised for possessing an absolutely beautiful 1999 Rolls-Royce Silver Safra. This is definitely a vehicle that many individuals want to add to their collections, but alas, it simply is far too out of their budgets. Jackson definitely hit a home run when it came to this car. So Michael Jackson hit a home run with this car of this Rolls-Royce Silver Surf, whatever. I can't even say that word, but it's hard. And of course, this is definitely a vehicle that many individuals want to add to their collections. So Michael Jackson definitely hit a home run with this one. 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood. And as you can see, here's the 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood. The 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood is the prime definition of a spectacular classic car. It is apparent that Michael Jackson knew this, as he had one in his collection. This car thrived on the primary market because of its absolutely breathtaking appearance. Thus, it makes sense that this is a car that is still worth a lot of money today. So yes, this is worth a lot of money today, but who knows how much it is worth? We will never know unless somebody puts out of how much it is. But if they don't, well, then we'll never know. Jackson knew this as he had one in his collection. This car thrived on the primary market because of its absolutely breathtaking appearance, as you can see here. 1964 Cadillac DeVille. So he had this in his collection. Michael Jackson clearly had a strong amount of love for Cadillac cars, as he also owned a 164 Cadillac DeVille. This vehicle can arguably be deemed as one of the best ones owned by Jackson, and rightfully so. So yes, this is the 1964 Cadillac DeVille that he owned. With the amount of impact that the DeVille series left on the automobile world, it should come as no surprise that we would own one. So yeah, if you own one of these kind of cars, then it's worth a lot of money. And the number one is the 1990 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur 2 Limousine. Now, what could be anything better than this? To close out the list, we will be looking at Michael Jackson's 1990 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur 2 Limousine. Unlike the town car limousine, this one actually works. The Silver Spur 2 looks even more strong as a limo. Therefore, with that being said, we would absolutely love to own this vehicle. It would be perfect for parties. So if you're thinking of going out for parties or whatever, then this is the car for you. Of course, you know, Michael Jackson had a lot of love for cars, and of course he kind of made it in the right investments for cars, and of all the cars that he had in the world. Of course, this is a wonderful collection that he has, and but who knows what's going to happen to all of these cars now. I don't know if they're going to keep them, sell them, do whatever. But like I said, with this kind of car, the 1990 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur 2 Limousine, have yourself a party. Because this is the right car for parties. Leave your comments below. I am out.